A black screen with white writing reads George Rogers Clark, National Historical Park, Virtual Clark March, where they were not expected. Our narrator, a woman with brown hair and a green shirt in front of images of the Clark Memorial.
The citizens of Vincennes watched from the commons as Clark and his men approached. Using the terrain and trickery, Clark put a strategy into place that would convince them of his large army.
Soldier 1. A young woman portrays a soldier in Clark's army. She stands in front of a field that is covered in snow with a blue sky while wearing frontiersman clothing.
As we left Warriors Island, we took great care to keep our numbers hidden. To those who watched, we marched and countermarched in such a manner that our numbers appeared abundant for the task. The low plain we marched through was not a perfect level, but had frequent risings in its 8 or 7 feet higher than the common level, which was covered with water. The risings generally ran in an oblique or diagonal direction to the town. We took advantage of one of the risings by marching through the water behind it. This completely prevented our being numbered, but our colors showed considerably above the heights, especially since we had attached these flags to long poles. In military fashion, a flag would represent a company of 50 men. Surely they had no reason to doubt what Colonel Clark had told the hunter, that being that we marched with the force of 1,000 soldiers. The townsfolk had no way of knowing that we had far more flags than we did soldiers. We took great satisfaction and delight in this plan, so much so that all of our sufferings seemed behind us.
The young woman who is the narrator returns.
Emboldened by their success, the men moved towards their goal, the fort. How long can they keep the secret? How long can they convince the townspeople that they have much larger numbers? Clark used the terrain to his advantage, making his troops disappear. His strategy seems to be working.
Soldier 2. A young woman portrays a soldier in Clark's army wearing frontiersman clothing. She stands in front of a blue sky, bare trees, and a snowy field.
It had been a long day since we left Sugar Camp this morning. It would be night before we advanced halfway into town. We now had the darkness to hide our numbers, and we were able to move unobserved. The French expected us on the commons, but Colonel Clark had another surprise.
Soldier 3. A young woman portraying a frontiersman in Clark's army, wearing a brown hunting frock, black hat, stands in front of a blue sky with the river and snowy background.
Before reaching the commons, we changed direction, waded through breast-high ponds. We could have progressed upon dry ground, but this change of direction put us in a position where we could not have been expected, especially if the British had any idea of intercepting us. Never were men so animated with the thought of avenging the wrongs done to their back settlements as this small army was.
The young woman who is the narrator returns.
Clark himself wrote, "Crossed ponds where they could not have suspected us. They are getting ever closer to the fort and a fight with the British."
Credits: Lincoln High School Youth Advisory Council, Sasha Banzan, Emily Gartner, Delaney Anthus, Mary Wilson. Advisor, Miss Haley Lancaster. Video production, Lincoln High School Big Green Media Class, and teacher Rick Lang.